Hi, I'm Elisa, and today we're going to talk about all of the makeup and beauty products that I own. So, full transparency here, I own way too much makeup for the amount that I actually wear makeup. I will never be able to use up my entire collection. Once upon a time, probably dating back to 2012, I wanted to be a beauty guru so badly. I watched all of their collection videos and all of their hauls and put them on a pedestal and was like, that's what I want. I want to own over 100 lipsticks. I want to own 50 palettes. And since that time, in the past 13 years or so, my goals around makeup and my way I view makeup has changed a lot, and now I have slowly been dwindling down my collection, trying to buy less, spend more intentionally, and this year I kind of had an eye-opening experience of going through my makeup and just sniffing it, which sounds crazy, but I had seriously old makeup, like decade-old lipstick that I wasn't really using, but I didn't want to let go of because it felt like wasted money. But coming to terms with the fact that it's expired, it is not usable for me or for anybody else, so I should get rid of it and accept the fact that I spent money on this, that money was wasted, and it's gone now. It's too late. I can't get that money back. So there has been a pretty major change in my collection, even just in the past month. However, I did count everything before I started decluttering and sniffing everything. So all of these numbers include anything that I put in the last empties/declutter video. Those are included in these counts. These are true 2025 beginning of January counts. And we're going to go through the numbers today, and we're going to talk about what's increased, what's decreased, what I'm happy with, what I have goals on, and let's just jump in. First up, we have full-sized perfume. I definitely own too much perfume. I'm well aware of that. I keep my perfume in such a way that it tends not to expire or go bad all of that quickly. I have some really old perfumes that smell completely fine or the same color they've been, but I do own 33 of them, which is ridiculous. I think I've always been aware of the fact that I own too much perfume, and I actually recently went through and did dates of when I acquired each of them. So I looked back and I saw that I had purchased something like a dozen perfumes within a few months span in 2019, and honestly, I'm very grateful that I no longer do that and that my fragrance consumption has fallen. I average now maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on like what I'm gifted, perfumes a year. And a lot of those are travel size. So I love fragrance. I'm always gonna have a larger fragrance collection because I currently have a larger one. So even if I have like a normal amount incoming now, unless they all go off, I'm gonna have it for a while. So looking at the numbers, I had 33 this year, 33 last year. I will say one thing, the 24 numbers are going to be quite skewed. I did not remember to count until September. So the numbers are going to be very similar in a lot of cases to the 25 numbers. In 22, I had 38. And in 21, I had 30. So I got 8 perfumes between 21 and 22, and then used or decluttered 5, and now I have stuck pretty consistent in like using up and bringing in the same amount. Travel spray perfumes, I own 8. I owned 8 last year. In 22, I owned 14, and in 21, I had 9. So honestly, I'm just happy that I no longer own 14 travel size perfumes. I did do quite a good job of using up a lot of the minis that I had, so I'm happy with that. Perfume samples, I currently have 20 because I got gifted those Sephora sets that come with all the samples and then you pick a full size. I had 0 in September, 14 in 22, and 12 in 21. I'm decent at using up my samples. I usually have a rotation going on with my perfume where one week I use whatever I'm trying to pan, one week I use just like a normal perfume, whether that be a full size or a travel size on a rolling basis, and then the next week I use samples. So that works for me. It tends to let me use stuff up but also get use out of the other stuff in my collection. Serums, I currently own 9. I had 13 last year, 16 the year before, and 15 in 21. So single digits, I'm happy with that. And I am aggressively using my skincare, so trying to get that number down. Moisturizers, this year was 4, last year was 4, 22 was 2, and 21 was 12, which is crazy. And I don't remember owning that many, and I would guess that most of those were minis, but that's still crazy. Eye creams, I own 1. Last year I had 2. The year before I had 2. And 21 I had 3. Oils and balms to oils, I own 2. Last year I had 2. 22 and 21 I had 8, which is a crazy number because I don't like oil products. Oh, this one's not good. Lip balms, and I think I didn't count these the same between last year and this year because I have 16 currently. I had 9 last year, 7 in 22, and 8 in 21. I'm thinking I didn't count, or I counted some of my lip balms as lip oils because the lip oil number is kind of weird. So I think some of those ended up in the lip oil count last year. This is a more honest count of what the product is. So 16 lip balms, that's too many. Primers, I have 2. Last year I had 2. 22 I had 6, and 21 I had 9. I have been trying to use up primers. I open one, I try to use it up, go on to the next one. Liquid foundations, I had 8 at the start of the year, 8 in September, 10 in 22, and 9 in 21. And that number for this year has gone down because like I said, went through my makeup to check what was expired and realized some of my foundations were so incredibly old. So I do have less now, but it does help to remind me that because of the fact that I don't wear makeup to work, I am not wearing makeup on a daily basis like that. So other than like eyebrows and mascara, owning the amount that I had is not right, and it's wasteful, and it's going to be wasteful because there's no way I can get through it before it expires. Powder foundation, I have 0. Last year I had 0. 22 I had 2, and 21 I had 1. Concealers, this year 3, last year 3, 22 4, 21 6. I think the 21 numbers are pretty stark contrast to a lot of the rest of these, except for like in a couple categories. I think in 21 I was not at all trying to rein in my spending at all, and I bought a lot of stuff and I owned a lot of stuff. So I think between the years of like 19 and 21 my shopping was kind of out of control, and it wasn't until these more recent years that I've started trying to cut down. Face powders, I have 3, last year 3, 22 4, 21 6. Setting sprays, 3, last year 3, 22 1, 21 5. Blushes, 5 right now, last year 5, 22 and 21 10. I have cut my blushes in half, and most of that is just because I've never been a blush girl. Like, I just don't particularly care about it. I feel like I could probably have 1 or 2 blushes and be fine because I just am not obsessed with it. Bronzers, 25, 24, and 22. Obviously, I didn't comment on the fact that I don't have 23 numbers. I just didn't count that year. Bronzers, 25, 24, and 22. I have 3. And then I had 7 in 21. So it's kind of another blush situation. If I find a bronzer that I like, I really don't need more than 1. I'm just not that into them. Highlight, I own 7. Last year I owned 9, 22 I owned 8, and 21 I owned 13. I obviously own more highlight than I do blush or bronzer. I just like highlight more. I know like it kind of went out of style, but I still really like it. I think they're really pretty, and I don't mind having a selection, although it's kind of one of those things that like if I really thought about it, I could get that number way down, because how different are they really? And it takes so much longer than bronzer or blush to get through, and I don't get through any of them, to be honest. Finishing powders, all of the years I've had two. I've had the same two because I like them. I've been using my Hourglass finishing powders since 21 and they're still in great shape. They still do a really good job and I just like them a lot. Sunscreens, this year and last year 2, 22 3, 21 1. I feel like owning 1 is the way to go. Eye palettes is crazy. I own 11 right now. Last year I had 16. In 2022 I had 31, and in 21 I had 49. In 21 and 22 I had put these into 2 separate categories, which were like mini palettes and like full-size palettes. I've since combined them. 49 palettes. Like my eye is twitching thinking about it. That is so much eyeshadow, and I used to love eyeshadow. I would wear eyeshadow constantly, and in the last few years I have really fallen off with eyeshadow use. So the fact that I had 49 palettes is gross, honestly, because it's not like I'm an influencer. It's not like I get PR and I can blame it on that. Like, I'm either spending money or my loved ones are spending money on these, and that is just way too many. Face palettes, I own 3, 24 I had 4, 22 I had 7, and 21 I had 12. 12 face palettes when I just told you I don't even really care about blush and bronzer. And like most of the time, face palettes, only a couple of the shades will work for me, so why did I ever have 12? Brow products, I currently have 6, 24 and 22 I had 5, and 21 I had 8. I am not unhappy with the state of how many brow products I own. It would be great if I could use up the damn brow pomade that I currently am panning. But otherwise it's like gel, a pencil, and then I think I have 2 tinted gels right now, but I'm not unhappy with it, but I mean, I obviously don't need 6. Mascara, I own 4, 24 I had 3, 22 I had 10, and 21 I had 12. And I've always been a person who is using 1 to 2 mascaras at any given time. So swapping those out, that's like 3 years of mascara. Eyeliners, I own 6. Last year I owned 6. 22 I had 5, and 21 I had 8. Honestly, I use 1 eyeliner at a time, so I really don't need this many, but eye primers, in currently last year and 22 I owned 2, and in 21 I owned 3. I know what I like now with eye primers, so I should probably just stick with those. Okay, here we go. Bullet lipsticks. I currently own 60. Last year I had 63, 22 I had 44, and 21 I had 59. I have no excuse. I do love lip products. I've always loved lip products, but I don't use up lip products ever, except for like lip balms. So bullet lipsticks, having that many is insane. Liquid lipsticks, I own 15. Last year I had 25, 22 I had 34, and 21 I had 47. I used to be a huge liquid lip girl, but like owning almost 100 lip products is, colored lip products is gross. And even now I have 75, so like saying the numbers out loud is enough for me to just be like, girl, what the hell? Lip liners, I currently own 6. Last year I had 7, 22 I had 8, and 21 I had 15. I just don't love lip liners, so there's really no point in me owning so many. Glitters, I own 0, and I've had 0 since 21 when I had 6. and I know I never reached for those because I never reach for singles. Speaking of singles, I own 2 right now from the MAC Advent Calendar. 0 last year, 1 in 22, 2 in 21. We'll see if they survive the year. Lip glosses, I currently own 10. Last year in 22 I had 2, and 21 I had 3. I had really fallen off with lip gloss. Like, I accepted the matte and satin trend like completely. I was like, I don't need glossy lips. And then this year I've definitely, or last year I should say, definitely purchased way more glossy products just because I started wearing them more. Cleansers, I have 2. Last year I had 2. The year before I had 2. And 21 I had 4. Toners, I own 3. Last year and in 22 I had 2. Oh, and in 21 I had 2. I don't love toner. I don't find it to be like a super necessary part of my routine, so could definitely bring that number down. Makeup removing products, currently 2. Last year 2, 22 2, 21 4. Nail polish, currently 29. Last year 30, 22 44, and 21 33. I've really gotten into press-ons, so nail polish is just not a priority for me anymore. And I feel like every time I paint my toes, I find a different like color I don't like anymore, or a formula that's gotten weird, so it's falling. Body washes, I currently own 2. I had 2 last year, 3 in 22 and 6 in 21. As you can see, a lot of these products I just don't have a back stock for anymore, which is the way I would like it. Shampoo, currently 3, last year 3, 22 2, 21 5. Conditioner, 2 right now, 1 last year, 1 in 22, 6 in 21. Hair masks, 1 this year, 1 last year, 2 in 22 and 4 in 21. Body scrubs, I own 3, not anymore, but like I had at the start of the year, and then 1 all the other years. Scalp scrubs, I own 1, didn't own any in 24 or 22, and then I had 1 in 21. Sheet masks, 0. I hate sheet masks, and I owned 12 in 2021. Regular masks, I currently own 12, which is crazy. A lot of them are minis, but still. 13 last year, 22 in 22, and 23 in 21. That is so many face masks for a girl who doesn't wear them all that often. Press-ons, I currently own 17 packs of press-ons, and I will say that is because they had this crazy sale where I got like each pack for like $2 to $3, so I stocked up and don't intend to buy anymore until I've used all of my sets. Last year I had 29. I think I ordered that right before I did that inventory in September. So I had 0 in 22 and 13 in 21. Body sprays, I own 0, and I've owned 0 since 21 when I had 2. Dry shampoos, I've owned 1 every year except 21 where I had 3. Hair products in general, I own 4 right now, 4 last year, 3 in 22, and a dozen in 21 yet again. Like, I just had a crazy back stock for stuff that a lot of it like wasn't meant for my hair type, so I don't know. Body lotions, I've owned 4 every year, but 21 where I had 8. I hate lotion. I hate it. Body oils, I own 1. I had 2 last year, 0 in 22 and 4 in 21. Special skincare, like stuff that doesn't fit into like a perfect category, I own 6. Last year 4, 1 in 22 and 2 in 21. And honestly, those probably are not the most accurate because I'm not totally sure what I put in that category like this year compared to last year and the other years. Eye brushes, I own 19. I owned 19 last year, 24 in 22, and 40 in 21. I did a massive brush declutter in 2021, and it was necessary because 40 eye brushes. Face brushes, I own 22 now. Last year I owned 20, 19 in 22, and 35 in 21. There's no way I used all of them. Candles, I owned 23. 24, in 2024, I owned 19, 22 was 14, and 21 was 24. 23 is a huge number, and I don't intend to buy candles this year because I every year say I'm not going to do it, and then I buy more. And so I've had a lot of these candles for a really long time, so I would just like to use them up. Hand creams, I own 6. Last year I owned 6. 2 in 22 and 3 in 21. I have a lot of Bath & Body Works hand creams, so I'm just getting through them as best I can. Hand soaps is similar. I own 16. I had 17 last year, 7 in 22, and 10 in 21. I don't hate having a back stock of Bath & Body Works hand soap because I do have something like 4 sinks that need hand soap at them, so we tend to use up a lot of hand soap. I don't mind having the back stock, but 16 is probably a little too many. Deodorant, I currently own 2, and that's just because I bought one and hated it, and I will use it eventually, but then I got gifted one for Christmas, and I was like, I'm using this one right now. 1 in 24, 1 in 22, and 2 in 21. Hand sanitizers, I currently own 16, post-COVID. 18 last year, 10 in 22, and 11 in 21. I tend to get them on sale or as gifts, so I have quite a few. Brush cleansing products, I own 7 at the beginning of the year, 4 last year, 4 in 22, and 8 in 21. Beauty blenders, I currently own 6. I owned 6 last year, 4 in 22, 4 in 21. Bath & Body Wallflowers, currently 15, last year 10, 22, 4, 21, 6. Yet again, 15 and 10, I'm not super upset about. In 22 and 21, I was living in a basement by myself and only needed like 1 to 2 Wallflowers at any given time. Now I have more space. I live in a house with my boyfriend and, well, my fiance, and I use more Wallflowers. Shaving cream, I have owned 0 since 21 when I had 1. I don't like shaving cream. I don't find that it does anything or has a use in my life, so I don't buy it. Bar soap, I own 1 right now, and that's because my mom accidentally ordered bar soap instead of body wash for me, so. I had 0 in 24 and 22, and 3 in 21. Exfoliators for my face, I've owned 1 every year. Spot treatments, I've owned 1 every year but 21 when I had 3. Teeth whitening products, I currently own 2. 1 in 24, 2 in 22, 3 in 21. Bath products, currently own 3, or at the beginning of the year I owned 3. 8 in 24, 2 in 22, 3 in 21. I've talked about how I don't like single-use bath products, so hopefully that number doesn't rise tremendously this year. Clarifying products, like for my hair, I had 1, 24, 1, 22, 2, and 0 in 21. Special soap, which is what I use instead of St. Ives. It's just Dr. Bronner's. I have had 1 every year. Hairspray, 1 this year, 2 last year, 1 in 22. I guess I didn't have any in 21, which is strange. Or I just put it in hair products, maybe. Mixing mediums, I've had 1 every year except 21. Little face shavers that I use to like take off the peach fuzz, I've had 3 every year. Self-tanning, I've had 1 product every year. Lip oils, just this year and last year, I have 8 currently and 13. I had 13 last year. And I think that's what I meant by like the balms to the oil and the oils. I think some of them got mixed up. Miscellaneous beauty tools, I own 25, and then last year I said I owned 14. I just think I didn't count certain things. And polish removers, 1 this year and last year. Okay, so going through all of those, I think the biggest thing for me is cutting down on backstock. So things like serums, moisturizers, I'm pretty good now. Anything skincare related that I have multiples of, I'd like to no longer have. I would like to use everything in my collection as far as color products go and make informed decisions about what I'm decluttering. I'm really happy with the state of my eye palettes, but there are still some palettes that I do use and I'm like, not obsessed with this. So using things and making an informed decision about whether or not I want to declutter them is my priority this year. Forcing myself to use face masks because most of what I have is minis and they go kind of quickly. I just have to remember to use them. Lip products, it's the same thing as eyeshadows. I just want to force myself to use everything that I have and make an informed decision because I have some crazy lip colors, and pushing myself to wear them also makes me realize, okay, it looks really pretty in the tube, or it looks really pretty when you're walking around the house, but are you gonna wear this out? Are you gonna put this on your face and wear this to dinner? And if the answer is no, this is an eye-opening experience every single year. And obviously I've improved in a lot of places where I no longer have a ton of things waiting in backstock. And there are things like perfume that I've kind of accepted I'm going to have a lot of for at least the next 10 years. It is what it is, but it's really eye-opening this year because I am handling my consumerist tendencies differently and trying to be much more mindful. So looking back and seeing when I definitely was not mindful at all and how I accumulated all of this stuff is crazy. Especially since I'm trying to really aggressively pay down debt this year and save money for my wedding. There's just something crazy of looking at things and being like, that was on a credit card that took you almost a year to pay off. Or if you had that $60 right now, that could be put towards debt. And it's just an eye-opening experience and puts things into perspective for sure. So that is my inventory of all of my beauty products for 2025. I'm hoping that this number goes down, and not in a crazy, I'm going to do a massive declutter and get rid of everything kind of way, but in a, I'm going to mindfully use my things and declutter from there. So thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye.